Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. It is May, everybody. It's May. All right, unless you're watching this from the future, then welcome in anyway. This is a reading that is timeless, so you can take something from this that resonates with you for sure. All right. So as you've probably seen in the title, this is a message from your future self. You can see this is a future collective, or from the future path maybe that you're heading along at this current juncture. It is also over here the 5th of the 5th, which just feels very, it feels like a gateway. 5-5, also 2025, right? There's a few fives in there. So, I don't know, I just found that kind of like an interesting time. Also, this is in the southern hemisphere anyway. In the northern hemisphere, you would have went through Beltane. And if you're in the southern hemisphere like I am, we went through Samhain, right? So kind of like Halloween, although I'll be honest, it doesn't feel like Halloween in the southern hemisphere because the rest of the world isn't really celebrating it. So I know they're quite different, but it's just that idea that idea is there. But anyway, so we've just finished that as well. And, we're in the 5th month of the year. We're getting close to halfway point. And it's been a pretty eventful year, no matter where you live, no matter what you've kind of gone through, what you're consuming, as in social media, news, that kind of thing. It's been super busy. We also had a federal election in Australia as well, so that went, it went quite, it shows how drastic things can change with the idea of what's happening in the world and how that can affect local politics. And when I say local, I mean in Australia. So yeah, it's been a busy week, busy few days. But regardless of any of that, this is going to be a message from your future self. So take it as you see fit and see if it resonates. If it doesn't and it feels like, why would this lead to that? And you're on that kind of path, maybe just take a break and see, does this look like it's leading me to an area where I don't want to engage, or I don't really feel like this is what I want to be told from my future self, right? See that as like an opportunity to make shifts or changes that you feel is right. If you come back to yourself and feel like you're doing everything that is, in alignment with your highest good, then continue with that path. Maybe, certain things will pop up in different ways. The future is never fully set. There are set things, I would say, in a future, as in certain learnings, but how they come through can be completely different to what we would assume we would get a learning from. So that is what I would say with that. All right, but let's have a look at a message from your future self. Ooh. Just gonna give them a bit of shuffle. I didn't shuffle them before I started streaming. Normally I do a bit of a shuffle, so today is going to be a bit of a longer shuffle. Okay, well, that one's not wanting to be held back. Take this one, and I can feel this one. All right, so these will be your 3 piles. I'll just try to get it out of the light. So we'll put it down here. Let's move the microphone a little bit so you can hear me better. All right, so for pile number 1, you have the emerald. It has the sign, or the message is calmness, love, and healing. When we get into the reading, I'll go through the rest of what was on the card. So for pile number 2, you have the Topaz card, manifestation, confidence, and courage. And lastly, for pile 3, you have the pink Adventurine with love, healing, and courage. Okay, these will be your 3 piles to choose from today. Take your time and pick whichever one is calling to you. If you need time, pause the video and maybe meditate on it, because this is a message from your future self, right? So you might want to connect with your future self and just see which one they're guiding you towards. Remember, your future self is you. It's all part of you. It's just an expanded version of you at this time. And this is going to be a message pertinent to this current timeline that you're in now, this current juncture, let's say, this current date, if you want to say it like that. And yeah, that's it. I will let you decide. There'll be a couple of seconds before it switches to the actual piles. So take your time with that, and you can jump down into the description below. That'll take you with timestamps directly to the pile of your choosing. Okay, with that, I'll see you in your reading. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 1. I just want to say, while I'm doing this, I'm also listening to music in the background. You won't be able to hear it. It's coming through my headset. However, it's called Crystallized by Kylie Minogue, and it's just if you've ever seen the video clip, it's just briefly talk to it. It's just got a young person, like a teenage girl, kind of just being in her own room, in her own space, and being able to be freely her, right, express herself without criticism, judgment, without interruption, even though her mother interrupts her and then leaves. But still, like, you know, that idea of just being able to be freely you is kind of coming through. So I like that, especially in this reading, because there's a message from your future self, and you've chosen emerald. The first thing that comes to mind is always the green color, right? It's touching in on our heart chakra, also nature. Emeralds are seen as, like, in my mind, like an old school style gem, right? When we think of emeralds, we don't really think of something overly new. Now would be more popular, would be like for marriage or weddings and stuff, as diamonds, right? But in old school, kind of like crowns, and I mean old school as in, like, you know, maybe like 1500s, hundreds of years ago, rubies, those kind of things. So there's something like regal about it, as well as historic. So it's an interesting take, but we'll have a read of what the card says. So as I said before, calmness, love, and healing, great messages. It does touch on the heart chakra and the element of earth. It says, much like other greenstones, emerald is a profound connection to the matters of the heart, fostering romance, abundant love, and deep emotional bonds. However, the luxurious yet calming green hue of the emerald is believed to also act as a soothing balm for both body and mind. So it is a nice card. It does feel like it is tapping into the internal you. This isn't about getting gratification of romance and love outside. This is like really understanding your soul, I would say. Because that historic, it just feels really, that regalness inside yourself, or value and worth, feels really like what's coming through. Feels like you need to know your worth. But anyway, it's just one card. I do want to grab more cards before I get too excited. Okay, let's grab some cards for you, pile 1. I'm going to take these 2. Is there 3? These 3 then. I might take these ones first. It's interesting, the next song playing is Torn by Natalie Imbruglia. And it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know the exact meaning, but whenever I watched it, it was quite a, I'll take that since that one wanted to come through. It's quite a heart-wrenching kind of song, right? It's kind of like not feeling whole, even though you think you've got everything you need, but the connection relationship is kind of phasing in and out, or is leading to a path where it's ending. So we'll see what your your future self wants to say about that. And even the Aswang and Pelicitos, this is manipulation, desire, and materialism. The idea of this card was a young person dreaming of grand things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with dreaming of more in life, right? Grander things, greater things, bigger, more exciting. But you don't want to lose yourself to the materialism of it all. We could see that with like if you're not a billionaire, right, or even like a multimillionaire, it's easy for us to look on the outside and look in, and sometimes we see them as a little bit wild, right? If you've watched some movies where there's like a person, I don't know, another rich person talking to another rich person, he's starting to do pottery or something and sell it. And it's like, yeah, it's $30,000 for this pot that I made. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is this reality sometimes? So there's nothing wrong with wanting more. It's just, is it actually fulfilling? The external does not fulfill the internal. I'm going to tell you that. It doesn't. It doesn't. It can help facilitate some of that, but it never is permanent. If you get a new bag or a new jewelry, it's nice, right? But the joy kind of fades because it's not about... You can love it for a long time, but it's not so much about the actual thing that you're getting. If it's coming from someone, it's that deeper connection, right? That's what it is, and this is a symbol of that. So that's a little different. But just a blanket, this is what like if I buy this or get this, this will make me happy. It's just temporary. So anyway, your higher self is harping on, future self is harping on about that. Okay. I don't think this is a future self that's like overtly well into the future, like, you know, 100,000 years or something. This is you in the future. This is like more recent, if that makes sense. All right, so you've got the vessel. This is the body. The body is a opportunity to grow and learn. Doesn't have to be just the body, but that's how it comes through. I see the vessel as like, these bodies are temporary, right? These are just temporary. That doesn't mean we treat them less or anything, but we, you know, if you have something for a short amount of time, then you want to enjoy it while you're here, right? So enjoy this life while you're here. It's important. You have the mother. This could come up with, again, more regal energy. I mean, the mother really touches in on nurture, you know, versus nature, that kind of idea. What are you nurturing at this time? What do you need to heal? This did come up with healing and also with calm and also with love, right? So that energy, that kind of vibe is coming through. And you've got the thread. Ooh. I'll get more cards before I touch on this. I want to touch on it now, but I think you're gonna not really see them all, are you? I'm just gonna put the thread here. I won't forget it if it's there. Let's just pop it there. All right, so you've got the Chimera, Alpha Omega, Pathway, Cycle, and Truth. All right, this is a very pivotal time at this moment. Regardless of what's happening outside of you, the world outside of you is going to shift and change as it sees fit, including other people in our circle, or even just that we don't even know, right? Things are going to continually change, but you're here to decide whether you go on a similar path moving forward or a new path or something with a mix, you know, whatever it is. The Chimera coming through with the Alpha Omega is very clear on you have a choice from this point forward. I was speaking to chat yesterday about our contracts and stuff, which I'll say contracts as in, you know, sometimes it's like pre-life when we plan what we're going to do on Earth, right? And so when we're here, we seem to feel like our contracts are set defined things. I see them as living and constantly changing contracts. Our selves, I guess, are still in communication with our guides about what's going on while we're living in it. So it's a constant living contract. That's how I like to see it. And this is part of it. This is like the Alpha Omega. Something is about to shift where you get an opportunity to make headway on something. Maybe it is more loving comfort towards yourself. Maybe it's improving connections and relationships with others as well. It's up to you, obviously. But your future self is really touching in on that. to check in with whether you are buying into the system, which is draining. Like the aswang is kind of like it's a blanket word in the Philippines for many different styles of dark entities, right, or dangerous things. That doesn't mean you have to worry about a dark entity. It's more of the symbolism of it, which is darkness is just forgotten its light. And so it goes around and drains other people's to keep it alive, right? Because darkness can't survive on its own. Without darkness, it turns empty. It fades away. So it's like, what is, you could see this as a representation of like a certain company. It's like, I have to get this, I have to do this, I have to get this thing. And when you step back and look at it, it may not be ethical. It may not be like doing all the things it says it's going to do. Is it actually going to fulfill me? What does fulfill me? You know, those kind of things. It's just getting you to check on your heart space, on your health, on what is going on within you as well. Holy Grail, inner discovery. Yeah, this is all internal. I said that at the very beginning with this card, right? So the cards are just going to continually reiterate this because your future self really wants you to pay attention to this. Like, you can shift countries, and I can say that because I moved countries with some baggage, right? With some stuff that I held on to, and I just hoped that when I moved, it would all just disappear. Did it? Hell no. It did make it slightly easier because there was less people that expected me to perform or be a particular way when I got there, but I still carried a lot of what I had. So this is kind of touching on that as well. It's like you can't just escape this. This has to be, because it's within you. You can't really run away from your arms, right? I mean, you can chop them off, but I don't think that's, you know, a healthy way of dealing with the problem. But it's just like, you know, that kind of feeling. It says finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Yep, you are what you seek. The Holy Grail isn't something outside of us. The Holy Grail is within us. People go on like expeditions looking for something that they feel like is going to bring them peace, harm, tranquility. It all starts from within. All right, star gathering, stars aligned, remembering home, soul, family. I like that. This could touch on some of you who are starseeds or feel connected to that idea of starseeds. Sometimes the idea of starseeds can be too much, right? And fair enough, because some people take it as like a, I don't know, like a, this is who I am. I'm now shifting my identity from a human into this, but we're just passing from one label to another, right? It's like, what does it mean really to you? Not so much what does it mean because now I'm this, you have to treat me this way. It's like, no, what do you feel about that? Why does that resonate? What does it mean to you? Does it change anything? Is it tugging on your ego to be better or worse than other people? You know, that kind of stuff. Funny talking about tugging because reality is shifting and changing on the outside, and that's why they want you to make sure that your internal is high and focused. So the thread overall is like that pulling of a thread, right? When you raise the curtain in a old school kind of play, they pull the things and it raises the curtain. It's like now is the beginning of the play or of your life is how this is coming through. And you want to come from it from a place of truth and honor the vessel you're in, even if you feel like you're a starseed, right? You're a human in this lifetime. That doesn't make you less or better or anything. It just makes it is. So what do you want to do in this vessel, which is interesting too with the Holy Grail, because there's two vessels. Essentially, they're both cups. Okay, let's see what else wants to come through for you today, par 1. Oops. Yeah, your worlds are really about to shift, right? The Page of Cups here looking is kind of shocked that this guy's floating, or girl, or whoever, and the pig's flying. It's like when people say, yeah, that'll happen when pigs fly, you know that saying? And now pigs are flying. Would you have assumed what's happened in the world in 2020 would actually happen, that we would stop, you know, flights and all that things would get locked down? no, and it happened, right? I didn't expect it anyway. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea. And so it was just kind of like it just kind of sprung and happened. And then even now, moving like, to this year, would you have expected certain things to play out as they have so far in 5 months? I definitely wouldn't have, but I can see the benefits and the, the struggles that it's kind of exposing, and maybe even some of the shadowy stuff that it's exposing. So while I don't want to see it, it's coming through. And that's why I feel like the strength cards come through. It's like being able to overcome worries and fears of, I don't know, maybe the future. We're coming from the future self, right? So maybe the future, it's like fear of the future. The future is only going to look how we focus in on today, on our own lives, on our inner world. Because once you kind of like shift the inner world to radiate at a particular frequency, let's just assume love, your outside world will transform and change. And it's hard to believe that when we're so used to seeing, no, but these people rule the world, right? So they're the ones that control everything. It's like, they don't control me, and they never will. So don't let them control you. It's funny saying that, because the song that's playing is called Murder on the Dance Floor, and I think it was popularized by a more recent movie, but growing up, it was a fun song back in the day in New Zealand, Australia. We've got the Queen of Swords, I love, next to the High Priestess. We've also got the Four of Cups. This is really internal, taking like a mindful look at everything, right? The High Priestess here isn't blocking anything or slowing anything down. Sometimes she will do that because it's like, you're going to uncover the scroll, the messages within the scroll. But if you get the scroll too early, it's just going to look like a jumble of letters. When you really understand like the meaning of life, let's say, or purpose in your life, then you look at it, you can see what it's, not just what it's saying, but also what it's not saying, what it's not focused on. Queen of Swords, discernment. High Priestess, secrets will be unveiled and it'll come in the right time. You can't get like everything you want in the world in the next 2 seconds, right? It comes in when it needs to come through, and in a timely manner. Four of Cups, not really focusing in on what's important. That can be where it is. One of the cards that I have has this picture of this person offering this woman a glass of wine. It looks like they're at a party. Everyone else is having fun and she is not. And that is a clear sign for you that this is not your environment. Just because it was your environment last year, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, doesn't mean that that's your future forever. So just know that things are shifting as well. You're not going to experience what you're experiencing right now, and that may be deemed as positive in your mind, and also negative depending on how it comes through. Just see it as an opportunity to really embrace change, because you're the path keeper, or whatever it is. You're coming up to crossroads. This is nice opportunity to really harvest and grow with the Page of Pentacles. I like that they're on opposite ends, because they're not really opposing, but they're in alignment, right, with secrets. It's like this birthing. There are a lot of cards. I just realized I'm pulling a lot of cards, but it feels like we'll just keep going. So you've also got the Chariot coming through. This like idea of night and day. And the Two of Wands. So much contemplation. This is a very thoughtful future self. It comes to a point of a lot of thought and feelings. Another deck that I have of this, I know I'm talking about other cards, but like the Two of Wands shows this. It's a animal, what's more related to animals, and this lioness is looking out. She's in color, and the male lion's in black and white, and she's looking out over like her domain, let's say, or the Serengeti or whatever, Sahara, whatever, wherever they're living. And to me, it just feels like a lion kind of coming to a point of like, is this my life? Like, I'm here to serve this man, like kind of thing, like this male lion, right? It's completely different with animals, but it's like putting it into a human perspective, it's kind of like, is this it? Like, is this the life? I just go out, hunt, come back, have cubs, right? And repeat cycle of it all. Is that it? And so I like it in that sense because it gives you the opportunity. It might not be like the best feeling, but it gives you an opportunity to start thinking outside of what's possible in your life and start to expand in that sense. Because you're able to make huge shifts out of stuff that isn't working, right? Look at this alignment. It's like stuff that can happen that you will not even believe is possible. So right now, I don't think you have to like figure out what that is. Just be open to anything that's possible. Whatever's possible outside of yourself. I mean, I speak to my parents sometimes, and while lots has shifted in their lives over the years, sometimes I don't believe that they could have seen what could have happened in the past. They wouldn't have believed that they could enjoy, certain aspects of their life because it wasn't really part of their indoctrinated, right, mindset or their training, let's say, or whatever they've experienced in this life. So once it comes up, it's like a huge shock. But really, things that happen now, nothing's really shocking me. It's all just what's happening. So I feel like your future self just wants to bring that to attention. That one, you're in control, you're in the power, you're in the driving seat. You have many soul family star beings and on your side, but also when we look at these two stars aligning, and this is a good time to make shifts that you feel called to. Doesn't have to work out exactly what you think is going to happen, but these will be the first kind of steps towards something greater. And some of you are already on this path, so keep moving forward. Do what you know is right for you in your heart, of course, but don't get too comfortable or slack with certain things. It's a good time to clear out some of the little negative thoughts before they become heavy, and yeah, keep holding on to the thread, because like I said before, I think in your reading, the darkness can't survive without the light. The light can survive without darkness, it kind of feels like. But they're not a good or versus bad. It's just like it's all part of an experience, right, in this lifetime. I think that's basically it for you, pile number one. It feels like a really nice reading in the sense of what's possible in your future. I'm not getting anything specific, right? Because she's right in the middle here, making sure that things unfold as they do. But certain weaknesses that you might have found in the past become your strength. Certain things that you thought were fixed or was your focus become transformed. Like, think you're going in this direction, you just zoom to this direction. It's like, but this was my career kind of like outlook for the next 20 years. And it's like, it's okay though, because this is what's going to bring me fulfillment now, and is what feels right in my heart. You can still go back to that, but it's just like, obviously you can keep going on that, but really feel into what your soul's kind of drawing you into. I feel like your future self is not showing too much because they want it to be unfolded as well, which feels good. That feels like a mature future, right? Someone who's more doesn't need to get everything immediately and know the whole plan. It's just like, it's okay with letting it unfold, is patient. So that could also be a hint. I always say sometimes the biggest messages aren't exactly what's said, but what's not said, what's hidden behind. I was watching a movie, a TV show recently, and the people were like interrogating this person, and then they went away, and then they talked about it, and they said, that's interesting though, but they never brought up XYZ. Why would they not bring up that? There's something with that. So, it's sometimes not what's said, it's what's not brought up and said. Because why wouldn't they mention something that was important overall and maybe they just don't want to draw attention to it, but inadvertently they've drawn attention to it by not drawing attention to it. You know what I mean? Anyway, interesting little puzzle here for you to kind of just sit with, not really to work out. The puzzle isn't meant to be completed. It's just meant to be known. Okay, that is your reading today, pile number 1. Hopefully this has really helped you. Great message from your future self. Does feel very mysterious, but hey, maybe you're a mysterious person. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment. Otherwise, look after yourself, take care, and I'll see you next time. Hello, hello, welcome to your reading pile number 2. So you've chosen the Topaz with manifestation, confidence, and courage. So it feels like a very pushing yourself, right, kind of energy. You've got the fire element, which is very snappy, quick, kind of like passionate, right? And also the solar plexus, who you truly are. This is very focused in on who you truly are, getting in touch with that energy. It may not look like what you want to be or who you think you should be, because it's not about trying, it's just about being. So this is where your highest, not your higher self, sorry, your future self is coming from. Specifically, this crystal is saying, associated with the solar plexus, Topaz acts as a confidence ally, enhancing self-esteem, courage, and the capacity to turn aspirations into reality. So yeah, you're getting, I guess, pushed to do something that is very you. So we'll see what your guides want to say about that. Remember, you chose Topaz, so if you didn't want to be super prodded by your future self, you're going to get it anyway. The song playing is called Say Something by Kylie Minogue as well, that I'm listening to in the background. Say something, it just keeps repeating say something, right? So it's kind of like the world is so much more vast and different and like varied. So the version that you are of you is absolutely allowed to experience this vast, great expansiveness by just being you, basically, and speaking up, right? Say something, speaking truth. I'm going to take these two. One of the things it says in there is, love is love, it never ends. Can we all be as one again? So getting back to the truth of who you are, and even getting to the point and remembrance of being part of Source. We can hear it and kind of like understand it, right? But this is like really feeling into it and seeing how that makes sense, which is going to take some time, right? It takes a lot of effort. Okay, and I'll grab some of these oracle, and then we'll have a look at what your oracle cards look like, and then I'll have a look at getting some tarot for you. Also, if it's your birthday this month, happy birthday as well. Don't know why that wanted to come up, but just happy birthday, why not? All right, let's take a look. Future self. Ooh, the vow. This is reminding you of your promise that you made maybe to yourself or to, well, in post-life, right? That you would come through and do. And Eros usually touches in on sexuality or sex, right? Authenticity with regards to who you are as a being. It doesn't have to be like sex, but it's that powerful inner part of you. So it could play into many different things. But you know, you got the fire, you've got the sex. It's like very passionate energy. And this is like the promise to yourself. You have the Dryad and the Chloris, which is strength, nurturing, and grounding. Something building from the ground up, right? The seeds that have planted, and now it's time to harvest, maybe, or even, what would I say to that? To plant new seeds or to grow something else. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look what it comes out. Baba Yaga and Svarog, Distort, Misunderstood, and Ancestors. It's an interesting one, right? Because I feel like Baba Yaga gets kind of like viewed in multiple different ways, and usually when someone's like, if someone was talking about a particular person, right, you're just involved in some gossip or something, and they're saying, oh, this person's horrible, they XYZ. Another person says, oh, they're great, they do XYZ. That's when it's like, I need to discern this out for myself. I need to stop listening to the news or listening to the gossip or listening to the bullshit and just feel it out. If it's important, right? If you don't need to, then that kind of tells you that all this is just doesn't even matter. It's just a whole bunch of like talk. So anyway, Baba Yaga in another term can be around being misunderstood, misidentified, not really being seen for who they are. There is fire here with the forge. Svarog is like a god. When I first got this, I was looking at the symbolism, this little symbol, and it just kind of spoke to me to do a card based off this kind of energy. This kind of like forging new paths, nurturing and forging. So this is like masculine and feminine energy in one, which if you're shifting, if your future self is talking about shifting into more of who you truly are, this isn't going to be based off the little labels down here. You might be worried about the little labels and where I fit in and what's right for me and my culture and my country and my gender and blah, 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 right? You might be worried about that, but this is like so much higher and above that. And your higher self is in that sense now. This could be your higher, sorry, not higher self. I keep saying higher self, your future self. I mean, same, right? Your higher self, this is you. Your future self, higher self, same. But this is like, it could be quite future focused, as in they could be coming from a very far future, like more than just like a couple of years, right? This could be, quite a few years away. Or even it could be just the higher self, the afterlife kind of review self coming through and just reminding you of like, do you want to live a life where you follow trends or follow like the herd, right? Or do you want to do it by your true authentic self? So there could be something there, and it doesn't have to be massive or crazy. It could be just like starting to try this or try a little hobby or try something different. And that's the steps that open you up to more and more and more of what's on the table, rather than thinking what's on the table is actually what's on your plate. Well, no, you've got the whole table to look at. Ancestors too, because this one's popped up. I didn't even mention them, but they did pop through when I saw it. You got the ancestral realm, karmic release, healing the lineage and boundaries. This is escaping some kind of future that you think you have to be. You don't have to be that. No one's forcing you. So if you're choosing it, you have to acknowledge that you're choosing it. And you've got the great central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. Yeah, you're going to be, I mean, it's going to happen anyway, it feels like. I think you've picked very smart and intelligent paths along the way to get to here, and you might think, it doesn't feel like it. But I feel like you have. And like the future self is like, you've already brought yourself up to a good enough, let's say, level. I don't want to say enough, but a higher enough level where you can start to see both sides of the coin, I want to say. How do I word that? Instead of seeing yourself as just a human, or just like the body you're in, right? The male, female, whatever you identify as, it's like seeing yourself as more of a spiritual being, and not just a female spiritual being or a male spiritual being. It's a genderless form of just you. And you don't have to sit in that all the time, right? It's just to remember that, and that will help you make the best decisions for you in this body. Doesn't have to be specifically about that, but I hope you get like the gist of where that's coming from. Also, the music stopped, which was interesting. Yeah, because you're on the path of success. You're going to reach your particular goals. It's kind of like you will come through and express yourself freely at some point anyway, but do you want to do it through, your own self opposed time and what feels right to you, or do you want to go through a challenge or something that breaks you down to force you to get into that path, right? You may as well just, you're going to get there anyway. You may as well go there in the way that feels more empowering than almost forces you. It's not like it forces you, it's kind of like the other options are worse, so you kind of like pick what's going to be tough, but is in that point is right. Okay, let's grab some cards. Got the 5 of Swords. See the struggle and the challenge. We definitely see the struggle and challenge with the 9 of Swords being close to getting over the shit, the yuck stuff, right? I mean to say. Into the light, got the Sun. So you've got the Sun and the Great Central Sun, right? You've got a very clear path of what's right for you. It just is not easy. It's not easy because you have to make a decision that you may feel will upset other people, but this is doing what's right for you. Got to do it. Your future self is feeling complete and whole with who they are. So just know that you're going to get to that point. And it's not about how quickly you can get there, it's about how you want to get there, rather, because the end goal is already in all paths leading forward, it feels like. So there's no path that goes off path. That's really cool. I like that. Got the Hanged Man. Yeah, you've got plenty of time. The Sun will always be there. There's no time that you're not going to get there. It's a whole bunch of refreshing ideas, renewing ideas. Living free, you've got the Fool card. This feels like absolute pure freedom. And here's the Flower of Life, the kind of symbology of infinite possibilities, infinite everything. You already promised yourself the Sun, and you're going to get there. Like, it's not impossible. I mean, I can't convince you, right? But it's like the future self is like getting there anyway. You'll get there anyway. It is going to take some time and grounding and like remembering who you are and your value and your strength, but it's all there. Yeah, homecoming, this kind of feels like, I know it's not the 4 of Wands, which is the homecoming, but it feels like, you know, these ladies are walking towards and looking up at the Pleiades like it's their home, right? It's kind of like they know they're here now, so they're not going to bitch and complain about why isn't the world like this, how it should be, because I'm from here. It's like, I'm going to celebrate every moment that we can achieve peace, prosperity, and stuff that's with like love within my heart. So this feels really beautiful. It's going to be an interesting path to get to wherever you're going, but it's going to be individualistic to each person that's got this reading. I think this is probably one of the, I guess, really important paths in this reading so far. I mean, I've only done 2 paths, right? But this feels like very, very intense and breaking a whole lot of old shit. Not breaking it as in a vow, right? It's breaking it as in a chain. It's like slicing the chain. The Devil card didn't come out to talk too much about the chains, which I feel like is because the chains have already been broken. It's just, you know, that, what is that syndrome when people get kidnapped? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like when people get kidnapped and they start to believe that this is what they deserve or is their only reality. And then when they get let free, it's like too much, right? It's like institutionalized with prisons and stuff. And then they get out and it's like too much. They want that kind of like safety. You're not in danger with anything that's coming into your future. It's all looking really good, but it's not done by just sitting there and waiting for it to happen. It is conscious internal thoughts and feelings, and, you know, giving yourself rest when needed, but also pushing through those times where you want to give up. Especially if it's a good path, you need to keep proceeding, because it's much nicer than the universe bitch slapping you, you know, to get on path in the future. You're not off path. It's just like to get onto that that like more harmonious path that you had already promised yourself at the time of incarnation, let's say. Well, yeah, people are going to misunderstand you, fuck them, you know, that kind of message from me. Anyway, it's like, if you're being you, you don't need to apologize or explain who you are. You just need, if it's not hurting anyone, right? If you're not like going, yeah, I'm a serial killer, not that. I'm talking about like, you know, really stuff that's within your heart space, because when it comes from love, it's never going to impact other people anyway, in the sense of their free will. If they don't like what you do, that's on them and their own belief systems that they need to deal with. You don't need to tell them that. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to be you. All right. Well, I'm going to leave that there. So I hope this helps. Very passionate future self, right? Very like, you know, either way, you're going to get on path anyway. So take what, you know, take the path of least resistance as like the message. But yeah, I feel like it's a really nice one. So hopefully this helps you, pile number 2. You know, sit with it, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, as always. I'm going to let you go, but take care, look after yourself, be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome, pile number 3. I just wanted to let you know the song playing at the moment is called All Saints Pure Shore. If you ever remembered the movie The Beach, I never watched it because of what the crew left, like huge amounts of rubbish on this like beach and stuff, and I was just like, I'm not watching that movie, as a very sassy kind of conscious, earth conscious kid back in the day. But anyway, the song I did like, right? It's like taking me back. It's like something that's calling you towards a particular goal or path, and I feel like that's where this is coming through. Back to truth. So you've chosen the pink Adventurine, which is interesting because we've got love, healing, and courage, which kind of does tap into the first and second part, right? Like a little bit of the courage from the second and the love from the first. So if you were drawn to those as well, you might want to check them out. I don't know how this one's going to unfold, but you know, there's like connection between all 3. They're not all completely separate. Different messages, but not separate. So you've got the elements of earth and the heart chakra. Heart chakra is a great place to do everything from, to make choices, decisions, not dishonoring any other part of yourself, right? It's all just to pass it through the heart and see what feels right. So it says here that the pink Adventurine is a crystal of courage and confronting difficult truths. This crystal encourages a sincere willingness to heal, challenging the inclination to secretly remain entangled in our own narratives of wounds. Yeah, that can be a tough one. Like, it's hard for people to... Sometimes people get attached to their own dramas, their own wounds, their own illnesses, right? And it becomes their identity. And you're so much more than your sickness, your even your culture, right? Even your gender. You're so much more than that. That is an important part of you in whatever way it needs to be at whatever time of your life. But ultimately, the body will be shed and you will be still so much more than what you just experienced. So it also says here, the Adventurine's energy also becomes particularly valuable when courage is needed in the matters of love, whether it's expressing some feelings towards someone, deepening the intimacy in a relationship, or summoning the strength to love again after heartbreak. So this could be a bit of a push towards love, maybe. We'll see what comes through. But it feels like it's coming back to who you are. Even the song now, the Spice Girls' Viva Forever, right? It's that real magical, harmonious self, kind of like pure, innocent self coming back online, not being shadowed by the traumas and challenges that you've faced in this lifetime. It's like they are to be honored, not to be the controllers of the rest of your life. This one really wants to come through. This card wants to come out. Flipped upright. You've got the Ardent Mage and the Portal Key. Elements, portals opening, and knowledge. Definitely a new path is being offered to you. You can see this like higher being, or this like multi-dimensional being offering you a key. And the key is really to your truth, to your internal heart, maybe to unlock a locked heart, right? A locked space within you. Okay, let's take a look at your cards, pile 3. Right, so you have got the Father and you've got the Crone. Those are interesting imageries, right? The Crone, sometimes seen as like the witch or the old woman, the wise old woman, the person who's connected with you know, beings that travel in and out of the veil, right, into the other realms. And this father figure, it's interesting with this tree because it's showing black and white, the positives and the negatives, or even just like the what's in light and what's in shadow, the truth, the hidden, you know, all that kind of stuff of a masculine figure. So we'll see how this plays out in your reading. But the Crone, you know, it's an interesting one. They're two very powerful archetypes. One generally seen in more of the feminine, one seen in more of the masculine, but if you've ever met anybody that has those kind of energies regardless of gender, it's touching on all this kind of stuff. You also have the Father. Again, we've got Father and the Soul Crystal with dedication, loss, and heart space. So it is touching on, it's definitely touching on reactivating a part of you that's been either shut down or locked. Sorry, I'm just moving a little bit. The whole story of this guy was to travel the world, immortalize his son into a crystal, right, to keep him kind of temporary in stasis, like freezing time. You know, if you've seen sci-fi, it's like freezing time. So he's frozen in time, so that, and he's traveled the world to try to help him. He gets to a point where he recognizes that what's past is past and what's done is done, and he can't change the past, and he can't you know, bring his son back essentially. So he has to go through that process of grieving and letting it out. So this could be an opportunity to unlock something within you where you get the opportunity to release it and let go, so that you can be reconnected with that part of you. If it's your heart space, it's really important to reconnect this part, even if it's something that doesn't always impact your whole life. It's coming up. It's going to be something that your future self wants you to look at now, even if it's just to acknowledge that that's something you need to look at, and not just quickly go work on it, right? It's just like to acknowledge it. What's done is done, what's past is past, and now it's time to move forward. You've got memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. Yeah, things are going to start moving. So you want to, like, if you're on a path, right? If you're like in a car and you're driving to this house and then this house and this house, and every single house you go to, you have to give them bad news or some difficult news. Let's say it's like back in World War II, right? When people visited the families to say that their son's lost or their daughter's lost or whatever. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like if you just drive past house because you don't tell them and drive past this house, you don't tell them drive past this house. Like, so it's like unknown. You're holding on to all their worry and angst, right? You're taking on that energy, and so now it's time to just let it all out. Let them know, or if they already know, then you know, whatever. It's kind of like that as an analogy. Probably not the best analogy because that's kind of sad, but I hope that makes sense because stuff is accelerating quickly. We're moving very closer to the future. You might even have past lives or have sensed past lives in Atlantis. I see Atlantis, like if I look at it in the past, it's very strange to what other people look at. So I see it as like a possible past, but I don't know if it's here or if it's in like another dimension in this earth. I have no idea. But anyway, this is definitely talking about things starting to move very quickly in the future. So if you're moving faster and faster, you don't want to be holding on to more and more and more stuff. It's going to drag you down, right? So yeah, soul star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. You know, you're so much more than just this one life, even if this life carries a huge amount of weight in it. You're so much more than that. Just to remember that as from your future self. But you are coming back to a point of who you were. If you ever get the opportunity to do a QHHT session, which is a quantum healing hypnosis technique session, you know, take it up if it's in your, you know, financial ability, and also if you want to do it, because it might tap into a whole lot of stuff which will open all these doors much easier. I do them, but I don't really advertise, right? I do them, and they're much better if you're in person. I remember offering it to my dad, and he was like, I don't want you poking around in there. And it was funny. I was like, I don't poke around, you talk. I just sit as like a sentinel to like help, but you actually talk about what you want. He's like, no, I don't want that. I was like, that's fine, you don't have to. But it was kind of funny, right? Because some people really want to hold on to whatever's in there out of fear of that coming out, and then they have to deal with it. But do you want to deal with it in this life, or do you want to deal with it in the next life? Do you want to have to go through all that again? I don't think so. So, but hey, you know, parents be parenting. Fair enough, though. If you're not ready, why force it? Don't push it. You don't want to re-traumatize yourself, right? I was more offering it as something that may assist. But hey. Now, let's see with your reading. So these are going to be the tarot cards. They're just mini cards, which is really cool because they're good for traveling, because they come in a tin. And they're a little bit more affordable as well, while still giving the money to the people that created it, not just some Temu kind of rubbish. All right, so let's take a look. You have the Queen of Pentacles. This feels so much better for you. It's like getting to a point in the future where you don't have all this baggage, right? You're grounded, but you're not stuck. You're able to move with while being in command, I would say. Not in control, just in command of yourself. You've got the Ten of Swords. It does show that this is a huge release. Like, I don't know if, I mean, it's probably a bit far into the read if you want to swap reads, but like, this is a huge amount of soul release, right? Around connection with your kind of maybe even parent, like father figure, like something like that, especially with the two fathers coming through. It could be like that, or your, I don't want to say issues, but like your prejudice maybe, or bias against even certain genders and things like that, right? Whether it's masculine or feminine as an issue. It's like moving beyond that, higher above that, where gender isn't like relevant in the future. But that's just how it's coming through. But it's not an easy path. They're not saying like this is one where you just like snap your fingers, it's all done. No, this is processing it in reality, really processing it. The Ten of Swords is like really letting go of that feeling of loss, failure, or grief, right? Yeah, it's an inside job. You've got the Moon card coming through, which is our internal world. This one does talk about like illusions sometimes, right? How we delude ourselves from the stuff that we need to deal with. We say it's not so bad, or it's like sometimes when I used to work and I would say, oh yeah, I like this job. And I was like trying to convince myself I liked the job. I didn't like the job. It was just a job. I didn't care about it. So, but I need to tell myself that so I would keep coming up to it, so I'd keep getting money, right? Because that's all I was really there for, even though it was not my calling at all. But that's the idea. It's just like dealing with those hidden truths that we are playing with and maybe not wanting to show in the light, and maybe we do, but we're conflicted. This is just showing that you will overcome all of this. The future self is like, you're going to overcome all of this anyway. Remember who you are. Deal with some of the old stuff as well, because the world's progressing and you want to be in a comfortable seat and not stressing whether you should jump off the moving vehicle, like out of the moving vehicle, to deal with whatever's at the background, right? It's like being okay with that movement. You've got the Two of Cups. This can touch on love and relationships as well. I think I kind of didn't really bypass it, but this was talking about love and relationships, and it was talking about courage within that, you know, going forward and really speaking to the people that you know are supportive, that are there for your heart space, that you're there for their heart space as well. Not the people that should be, because some people that should be, like a mother or father, aren't always that, you know. Some of us are lucky, some of us aren't. But regardless, it's who is really there for you. And ultimately, you have to be there for you, and you'll resonate and find the people that are also there for you as well. Whether that's in a romantic sense or not, does not matter. This is about pure, like, heart space love, not romantic, you know, love. Exactly. Can be, but depends on who you are and where you're at. You've got the Page of Cups, a new message of love even, something that's like completely out of your space. You might have even, usually people when they, you know, there's that saying when people reserve to the fact that they aren't finding love, right? They're like, I don't even care anymore. I'm quite happy with who I am and how I am, even though I was looking for the last 5 years. I'm not even bothered now. They're usually the ones that find it because they've come to a point where they've acknowledged that they are enough without man or woman or they, them, whoever, you know, on their arm. It's like they're happy with who they are. Then they find someone because then they're like, okay, you're ready now. Here it is. It's like certain things opening up. Now, this doesn't have to be just romance. Love, like, again, it's like your heart. You're able to bring in so much new stuff. You might, in the future, when you get to this point of this future self, you may look back and be like, wow, I really did that. I really overcome that. At that time, I was like, hell no, that's not going to change. You don't know my life, blah, blah, blah. Well, your future self does know your life, right? And so they probably know it better than you do right now. And they can see the progress and the shifts and changes that you are both guided towards, like the path set out that they see. I like this for you. You got the Justice card, recognizing that there are challenges that need to be overcome, right? Justice isn't always about karma, like in the sense of you did this to me so you'll get it back to you. It's about just recognizing that processes and things will play out, and it's more about how I respond rather than what I think should happen. So there's this idea of, you know, what's to come will come and what's to transpire will transpire. You don't have to force that. Let the universe guide you through it rather than you forcing anything exactly in the future. It will come naturally, right? It's like spontaneous, naturally. Other things will play out as they need to. Some of them will be in the shadows, some will not, but you are here to live your truth and in your own way. So it's a lot here. There's a lot of information, right? You've been given the key, though. The future isn't fully set in a heavy way. It's meant to be unfolded and come through in time. There is truth and honesty with like how some of the stuff needs to be processed. I don't know if your higher self or future self even will guide you in that. They probably will, I would say, but you may have already things in place, going to speaking to people, going to meetings. If you really want someone else to be a particular thing for you, that's going to be really challenging. Or just like, do they still miss me? Do they want this? Do they want that? Should I come back to them? You know, that kind of stuff. Don't get into the mindset of that's how happiness is because of other people's point of views, right? or like someone else's mindset is like, or if they take me back, then that's going to make me happy. It's like, you make yourself happy and life will unfold much more cleanly when you believe and trust in yourself. And that's what I'm going to leave it as. So I hope this really helps. Your guides are there in the background, right? You got these like little interesting beings in the background. They're not really judging or criticizing. They're just there to guide and support and you know, hold you in a higher state of love. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. Hopefully this really helps you. You know, your future isn't exactly all the shit that you carry at the moment. It's unloaded, and it's more free and comfortable in a heart, like a confident heart space, I want to say. But yeah, thank you for letting me read for you. I hope this helps you. Take time to sit with this, you know, take again what resonates. If some stuff annoyed you and doesn't resonate, leave it. It's not for you, right? You don't have to pick it up and take it as your own badge of honor. Just leave it. Anyway, thank you for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself, Pile 3, and I'll see you next time.